Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your buddy Double D, and welcome back to Tom Clancy's The Division. Today, we're going to be talking about DZ06 in the Dark Zone 201 gear score bracket, and we're going to be ranking the bosses from most difficult to easiest to solo farm. Now, you're going to be watching some solo gameplay in the background, but this is not Dark Zone 6, as I'm sure you've noticed. My gear is just not in a place right now where I can comfortably solo farm. Once it is, I'll get some gameplay out for you, but I wanted to get you this information. So let's jump right into it. Before we get into the ranking, there were a couple of things that I took into consideration when ranking these fights and encounters. Number one being the types of enemies that you're going to encounter. Number two being the amount of enemies that you're going to encounter. And number three, the surrounding area, meaning is it easy for you to get flanked, or is it easy for you to cause them all to tunnel into one little area where you know where they're coming from and you're safe. So jumping right into it, let's talk about the single most difficult boss to solo in DZ06, and that's Midtown Music. Midtown Music is really difficult for a couple of reasons. Number one, the boss type is a shield type boss, so you're going to have to constantly be on the move and trying to flank around him. But number two and three, there are a ton of enemies, and it's really open area, so you're going to find yourself getting flanked more often than not. And in Dark Zone 6, you get hit once or twice, and you're absolutely dead. So I recommend staying away from this one unless you are in a solid group. Coming in at number 5, we have the Pit. The Pit is also an extremely difficult boss fight, but it's a little easier than Midtown Music simply because of the area. Now, the enemies are a little more frustrating because there are some grenadiers, and if you get caught by some of their grenades or just one of them, you're going to die. So make sure that you're paying attention to where those enemies are and when they are shooting at you, because you don't want to be anywhere near them. But if you are patient and if you time your cooldowns correctly, it's pretty easy to pick off the enemies up top, and then there's only one or two ways that they can come at you from that point on, which is up the stairs or up the side of the wall. So if you position yourself to see both of those entrances, you can see them coming up before they get anywhere near you and start to pick them off, or reposition yourself to be in a better spot. Coming in at number 3, we have the Q building. The Q building, it can be pretty frustrating because there are a lot of tear gas and a lot of cleaners, and we all know that cleaner flamethrowers are OP as hell right now. However, what does make this a little easier than both Midtown Music and the Pit is the area that you're going to be fighting in. Again, if you are patient and you attack from the southern side, then you can clear out a little hallway and then force the enemies to attack you through there. That way, you see when it's getting too crazy, you can back off, you can choose your plan accordingly because you're going to have all the information that you need. You're not going to be getting flanked. If you come in from any other side, you have to deal with the enemies out in the little courtyard area flanking behind you. You have to deal with the cleaners jumping down from the ceiling like they're goddamn ninjas. I mean, you guys know, you've been there. So make sure you attack from that southern side right by the checkpoint. That gets us into the top 2 easiest places to solo farm, and that's going to be the cleaners. They're actually both going to be right outside the westernmost checkpoint by DZ06, and the number 2 spot goes to the cleaners in the contaminated area right outside that checkpoint. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Double D, come on, man. You've got your top 3 has 2 cleaners in it, 2 cleaner areas in it. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, cleaners are really irritating, but the area that you're going to be fighting them in, again, makes things a little easier if you're paying attention to your surroundings. This area is really easy because once you aggro them, all you need to do is just run out. Just make sure that you don't aggro the pack behind you. I recommend clearing them. But once you've done that, you've got this huge straight line of sight where you can just pick them off with your sniper or your marksman rifle or whatever it is you want to pick them off with. But you can stay at a pretty safe distance, and there's plenty of room to run around and stay safe. Plus, if you do happen to die, you're right there by a checkpoint. You can just pop out and continue on your merry little way. So, coming in at the number 1 spot for the easiest boss to solo farm in the Dark Zone 6 is going to be the subway boss right outside of the westernmost checkpoint. Now, the reason this guy is the easiest to farm is simply because he's not a boss that has a ton of armor, and he doesn't have some irritating flamethrower that's going to one-shot you from 20 miles away. Plus, on top of that, once you clear the roaming pack at the top of the stairs when you first enter the subway, you really don't have to worry about any other enemies except for the boss. So you can pull the boss. A lot of the times he tends to take cover in the boxes right at the bottom of the stairs, and if you just stand at the top of the stairs, you can actually see him plain as day, and you can unload on him while he's just sitting there getting a free kill and free 240 loot. So just to recap, once you get gear that you feel comfortable with, I recommend starting out. I would farm in the lower ranks like I'm doing right now, but make sure you pop up into DZ06 every now and then to farm the cleaners and the subway boss. And then while you're, waiting for the respawn, go do some high value targets or farm some more in DZ1 and 2. Just make the most of your time. And I would stay away from bosses like Midtown Music completely, because that's just really difficult to solo. The Pit you can solo, but in my opinion, it's just not worth the time and energy that it takes. And the queue building, probably I would say the same thing. You can do it, especially if you kill the guys at the bottom of the escalator and then just blitz right up to the boss and kill him. But again, just the time and energy that you spend killing him is just not worth it. So I hope this I hope this guide helped you guys out. I can word. If it did, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I'm going to have some more content coming out. I'm going to show you my updated build, what I'm running, and we're going to talk about, probably tomorrow, toughness and understanding the stat, because like the DPS stat this game, there are a lot of things, well, not a lot of things, but it can be a little tricky to really get the things that you want, and you can be fooled by really high numbers. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. If you guys don't mind, on your way out, go ahead and mash that thumbs up button, as it helps me get my content out there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Double D out. Peace.